This is a front load that I used for the internet and Gutenberg, and I'm going to give you a copy of that essay and an activity that I do with kids with claim data warrant. And for this one, I do, so I show them how I found the claim data warrant in the piece, and then we do one together, and then I give them the claims, and then they have to look for the data in the warrant. But what it does in this piece is the one I talked about a little bit yesterday. It argues that the printing press was a far more important invention than the internet. So before we do that, I have them rank. These are some of the inventions that come up in the course of the article. So I want you to do this right now. Rank the following inventions in order of their importance to society. So this is similar to the ranking scenarios that you did. And be prepared to explain.
Press second. I have electricity first. I don't know why. Just because nothing runs in that. And I don't know.
Except for the printing press.
That's true, and it doesn't. So I put like electricity and then antibiotics is like third or second. I mean, those are so interchangeable.
Did you put last? The internet?
See, I did too. The internet
I put
last.
movie pictures.
I did
I
too.
put one of those
I did
too.
too.
Internet or movie pictures. I near interchangeable.
And then I had the airplane as 7.
I did too. I had a hard time
The
deciding what to
airplane
put
is like
in class
6.
between
Wait, 5.
movie
How
pictures
is it?
and the airplane.
Yeah. They just seem such
They're just
value.
extras.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? They're not necessarily. I mean,
Unless you look at it from a war, from a military base.
there you go. So one of the strategies that I use to move a discussion from small group to whole classroom is called a stand up or vote with your body. It's been called before as well. So what I want you to do, if you put antibiotics as your number 1, stand up. Antibiotics is number 1. Okay, somebody give me a reason why.
Well, for me, it came down to like things you could live without or not. Like a lot of these would be in my grouping preferences, and that's how I came to antibiotics. Like you will die without antibiotics in some cases, and even today there are people who prefer not to take them or choose not to for whatever reason, which is fine. But the fact that we have them has really furthered so much more that has made our life longer and better quality.
So what decision did you have to make? Just looking at the directions, what decision did you have to make that first?
When it was important to society, I had to think, like, for me, a lot of those are preferences. Like, I want to get from place to place faster. I like being entertained. I love communicating quickly with people I love who live far away. But would I rather them have antibiotics or a movie? I thought, what would I give to somebody else in like a serious situation?
Okay, so your claim is that the antibiotics are the most important.
Yes.
The data that we have keeps people alive that we could go look and research. What's the connection between those two you just explained?
The connection that it's the most important because it can save people and help them have a better life on a more tangible level.
So things that are important to society keep us alive longer.
Yes.
Okay.
There we go. Good. Better.
I read a lot of history books, and you read about these famous people, and they catch something like, they died of tonsillitis, or they died of touch, and you're literally going, think of the people that have died from simple things that we introduced antibiotics that have saved.
So perfect, you just gave us some data.
Look how many people are dying in Africa because they don't finish their animal from something that could have ended 20 years ago.
Awesome. All right, have a seat. Did anybody put that as their last? Number 8? Anybody put the internet as number 1? Interesting. There's still kids that will, even after watching Louis C.K. Telephone, number 1. Moving pictures. Printing press. All right, why? Go ahead.
I wanted to mention that I was really close with the antibiotics. That was my second. And I just kind of ended up thinking we would never have had antibiotics if it wasn't for the printing press because people wouldn't have been educated. And even if by some fluke they found out that you could eat this mold or whatever, you know, it would make you feel better, you could not get that information out to the world without the printing press.
Okay.
That's kind of where I was at, the ability to read and gather knowledge on your own through reading through text, which prior to the printing press, it was a very small group of people that were able to read and write and so forth. This opens up worlds of possibilities for other things on the list to come about.
I would just say the printed word is like the keeper of history. I mean, things that go onto the internet go into some cloud. I mean, your personal stuff, you know, your family stories and all that. They just go into some cloud somewhere that could burst and we could lose it all. But unless, you know, aside from the fire, the printed word is our history. It's the keeper of the history.
So in importance to society, we changed society. That's what I looked at. It changed. Life didn't go on the same.
Okay, how about electricity?
Printing press was invented after.
Then everybody stand up by
You'll watch kids start to get up, and then they'll do the exact same thing. I'm like, get up. Let's hear it. So why?
Well, I thought we were supposed to look at it from today's perspective.
You can look at it from any perspective.
Okay, well then I would have said the printing press.
Okay.
But my reason for electricity today is everything else on that list is comes about from electricity. Whether it's AC, DC, it doesn't matter, but it's all related to that.
So your warrant is about dependence. Something impacts if we're dependent on it.
Right.
Okay. Did you want to add something?
I was just
Well,
being a smart aleck to say, well, without electricity, they couldn't read the printed word because it'd be dark.
One of my students would definitely say something like that. So thank you for that. Okay, how about the airplane? I love that line. You're in a chair in the air, like a bird. How about the automobile? Okay, so think about the reasons that you chose what you chose, because those are kind of your warrants. Okay, those are the unspoken rules that you are hinging the idea of importance of society on. Okay? Whether it's something we're dependent on, something that may change, something that keeps us alive longer. Those are the warrants in that particular situation.